What's up guys, my name's Nightfall, your host on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about how to get through the Nightfall to do the Rat King quest with 5 minutes remaining. There's a lot of different little fun things you have to do, different things that I recommend. I'm going to be doing a full Nightfall overview. You can see the whole Nightfall in this video. I'm going to be talking about the weapons, the supers, and all that. A lot of you guys have been asking on Twitter about helping you guys out, and I wanted to make this video to hopefully make it so I don't have to do like 30 Nightfalls just today, but I'm going to try to help as many people as I can. But first, I want you guys to try out the strategy, as well as if you do join me, that you know the strategy ahead of time. And if you're doing this on your own, it should make it a lot easier if you follow these guidelines. So the first thing you should know is that the Nightfall is actually different than Destiny 2. First, there's a rotating burn. You'll see in the bottom left, it goes from Void to Arc to Solar, and then it goes back to Void. It rotates this same way every single time. It's not random. It happens the same way every time, and you have to have weapons that are according to those things. You can actually switch weapons out on the fly. That's why the Prestige Nightfall says you cannot switch anything in your loadout. It is locked, so that's a fun thing to do. The second thing is going to be that your time is a lot limited. You have 11 minutes to finish Nightfall, or you're booted to orbit. You get more time from killing enemies, so I recommend killing a lot of the smaller enemies to get 2 seconds and avoiding the big enemies for 7 seconds. If you have the burn right now and you have a power weapon, it might be worth the burn, but overall I would recommend just the small enemies. And lastly, if you do all die, your entire team wipes. It does not end the Nightfall. It just wastes a lot of time on that respawn. And dying, and everyone dying and wiping does not mean you've lost a challenge. You can still do it, but you have to limit those as much as you can. So first off, I want to recommend the guns. This whole first section is pretty self-explanatory. Stay on this back ridge and do the burn. Keep calling it out. And you want your dudes to have all different types of burn, which I'll explain later. So firstly, you want to have your dudes have all different types of special weapons and power weapons. I ran a Void special weapon and an Arc power weapon. A lot of my other teammates were running Solar Void, and then other one was Arc Solar, I think. So try to get as much variance as you can while keeping your life or your power level as high as you can, because again, you want to have as much burn as you can. And I recommend having as much damage as you can, because it sounds like a great idea. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about are the different power weapons that are very good. The Borealis, the PS4 exclusive sniper rifle, you can actually reload to change the damage type, is pretty much the best option for Nightfalls ever. There's probably not going to be any other gun that is as good at dealing with the Nightfall because of the rotating burn as the Borealis. Second one's going to be the Hard Lights, considering that you can literally just change the damage type on the fly. You have to go to your inventory to change this one instead of just reloading. The next one's going to be the Coil, the Wardcliff Coil, very powerful power weapon. And before I go any further, I just want to mention this section here that you're seeing. As soon as you kill off the green dudes, or the guys with yellow and orange health for the Cabal, you'll get a little football you have to bring over here. I recommend just running past every enemy. You saw there, I literally got like half a minute from one of the shots and half a minute for the second shot. I recommend it. If you see these guys and you have the current burn, throw some grenades, shoot some of those rockets, you'll get a ton of time. And again, you want to skip as many enemies in this section as possible, come forward and kill these guys off. There's going to be 4 guys, Cabal in here, kill these guys off, and then you can move along. Anyway, so the next thing for the weapons, if you don't have any of those power weapons, I recommend fusion rifles, scout rifles, and of course a variant, and lastly a Cold Heart. Cold Heart's fantastic. If you have a Cold Heart, the arc damage on that is fantastic. My buddy was using Cold Heart, I was using an Arc Fusion Rifle, and it was all pretty good. And again, the other weapons, I recommend Pulse Rifles, Scout Rifles, because you want to be far away from the enemy, because it's pretty hard. They do a lot of freaking damage. Anyways, that's it for the guns. You want to go through this section. As soon as you kill the Cabal in this section, you want to just move on, ignore these enemies. I threw a grenade at these shanks. It seemed to be worth it. I got like 10 seconds from that one grenade. If you're just going by, punch a shank as you go along, but ignore those enemies for the most part. Once you get through this area, you should be able to get onto your Sparrow and follow the path that we follow, because it's the safest and one of the faster ones. Don't try to get fancy and try to ramp up the side of the path there. I tried doing that many times and died. If you guys die in this section, it's going to be a long respawn, because your teammates are going to be far ahead of you. Anyways, for supers, I'm going to talk about these supers for a moment. You want to use supers on the ads. You want to kill enemies with the supers. You want to create orbs with the supers. You want to use supers that are meant for that very specific reason, because it's very important to kill off those ads, get a lot of time, and stop them from killing you. So again, you want to use your supers on the ads, so keep in mind which supers are better for that. For example, Nova Bomb is not a good idea, because it's all about the single target and will not really give you a ton of orbs. Although the Nova Bomb does give you more orbs per kill, I would recommend using other ones. For example, I recommend the Sentinel, Dawnblade, and Arc Strider. As well as the fact that these are all one of each of the different types. If you have one of each different class in your game, then you can make it very easy and very effective. I believe that the Striker class is also pretty good at dealing with enemies. The Stormcaller class is also pretty good at enemies. Just try to have as good variance as you possibly can. So once you get to this room here, what you want to do is there's two little things you have to activate. My little thing here, you have to activate this thing. You want to avoid that ramp that I'm pointing at right now. Avoid going on that. You want to just go past the bottom tank and just hop up from the bottom. Once you go to the other objective, which I'm not currently at, if you to my right, there's another objective next to the elevator. You have to activate that my teammate activated. You can see the elevator coming down. For the most part, ignore the bottom tank and then fight the second tank. You can see the Borealis damage coming clutch when when we're shooting at this tank. You'll see this tank health literally just disappear in front of your very eyes. So go around this thing and then the health will literally be gone because the Borealis is so freaking powerful. And once you guys kill that tank, you're going to want to kill the green Cabal dude that's on that platform there, and then you can move forward through the enemies. I recommend using a super in this section for the Cabal enemies. If you're standing on this platform already, it's going to be very difficult with the Cabal and the Fallen, so I recommend being very careful. And of course, I didn't use my super during the Void Burn, but it was still pretty effective and killed a lot of enemies and got myself a lot of orbs. Once you kill that green dude, a bunch of doggos are going to come through the door. Again, I recommend a super on these guys because, again, you can get a ton of orbs from these guys, a ton of ammo, and you can move very fast because the dogs usually kind of destroy you. Anyways, once you get through this part, this door is open. You're going to run down this big old hallway. You're going to open a door. I recommend looking for the console. You should use the ghost on the console. We run to the door and then just been like, what do we do? Like every single time. So make sure you use that ghost on the console up ahead and you should be able to get through as fast as you can. Anyways, I'm just going to skip out this part because it is just waiting, and we're going to move on to where this door opens and we move into the next section. Once you get through these doors, there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. The boss does spawn. Any damage done to him will basically be removed and voided when you move on to the next section. So don't shoot the boss. Try to shoot all the little enemies. Try to get rid of all the Cabal around him. The guys with yellow and orange health. The guys in green or chartreuse, I think chartreuse armor, as Kay just described it. Kill off those guys, and the boss should move on to the next stage. Try to ignore the servitor. There's going to be a servitor up to the top right and the bottom left there. If you can kill the one at the top right when the burn is on your power weapon, that will make things a lot easier when moving on the platform. The next thing, you're going to move up. You're going to try to kill these sentry turrets. Pretty much anytime you see those flame turrets, just kill them immediately. They should be easy to kill. They'll give you time, and they'll stop trying to damage or time you so much. As you come through this part, again, try to use those scout rifles at a distance. Try to pick off a bunch of people. Try to focus some people. My dude went in there with his damage and his solar burn and destroyed everyone. I would recommend trying to use a super in this part. There is a lot of people, so you can get a lot of good orbs and a lot of kills in this part. But for the most part, try to focus targets together because there's a lot of Centurions with big old shields and big old health that you need to take down. Once you've cleared the boss off of that second platform, you're going to need to activate the console on top of that platform. Every single time I've done this Nightfall, I've totally forgotten about the console on that platform, and we've been waiting and sitting on the thumb, not doing anything. In this next section, there's going to be a bunch of Fallen and Cabal that spawn in. You're going to want to use a super here to get some orbs. The Cabal will spawn immediately after using the console. You saw that the Cabal came down. That was because we used the console. And again, try to get as many orbs as you can from killing these guys. And once you've activated the console and killed all the Cabal off, the elevator should start to move up. Again, I'm going to try to skip as much as this I can. As you're going up this lift, you'll notice that the boss will appear. You can actually shoot the boss as you're going up, and I highly recommend it. Now, if you guys have never seen this boss fight, he has 3 distinct phases. He has 3 distinct little health bars on him as well. As soon as he spawns up, you're going to want to shoot these little sentry turrets because, again, the damage over time is pretty insane on those things otherwise, but they are pretty weak. So just shoot them down and then shoot at the boss. There should be no ads in the first third of his health. As soon as he gets near 1/3 down, he'll start to run. What you're going to want to do is make sure he's lost at least 1/3 of his health. So that means he'll activate his next phase. He'll run away, but you have to damage him enough to push him into the next phase, which would be an entire bar. Once he does run away, a bunch of enemies are going to spawn. I recommend a super every time these big enemies spawn in and get them. Otherwise, I would recommend just shooting at the enemies. If you've activated the next phase of the boss, shoot the enemies, clear the ads because you're going to have a problem with them and they're going to be a pain in the ass. Again, try to focus on your burn. I had an arc fusion rifle. As soon as I had ammo for that weapon, or as soon as the arc came up on that weapon, I was immediately just wrecking in and I wanted to murder everybody, every enemy, and it was awesome. So as soon as you take out a lot of the ads, the boss is going to move up into that little shield thing up in the top left there. You're going to want to go and grab the football. Again, one of those little fusion coils. As soon as the boss goes up there, activates his shield, he's going to activate one of those little flying thresher ships. They're going to pick up a tank grab the fusion rifle off of that, go slam dunk into the section that I'm looking right now. My teammate grabbed the football. It's going to be very deadly in the center of the map, so I recommend avoiding the center as much as you can. And as soon as you activate that thing, the boss will come jump down right here. He's going to jump down any second now, and he's going to be a big problem. So as soon as you activate that little slam dunk, run to the other side, and you should be a lot safer. Another thing I should mention is that this little back platform, this little walkway area is going to be the best place for you. The other side of the map has not a lot, it doesn't have a lot of cover on it. It's also low ground, as well as the fact that a lot of enemies spawn in the far right and left side. It doesn't really matter where you are, but this fight I find to be the best because of the fact that it has a lot of cover. So if you ever die and you respawn, make sure you try to get to that cover area, but try to shoot enemies as you go along. Another thing I find that happens a lot is that you die a lot when you're trying to respawn and come back to the location. Don't try to rush in and try to get to that walkway. Even if it's a great place to be, try to shoot the enemies as you go along. Try to do damage to your team, because you are useless if you die out and have to respawn again after 30 seconds. So try to shoot at some enemies. Again, focus on the burn. I can't tell you how freaking awesome the burn is and how it also fucks you if you don't have the right burn. So again, variance is key for your team. And again, once you try to get through all these enemies, try to kill as many as you can. Once you've killed enough ads, then focus on the boss, get him down another bar of health. Again, make sure he loses that second bar of health, otherwise he won't activate his shield and you'll be sitting on your hands. Once he does, you'll go to his shield, go to the opposite side for the football, and then go to the opposite side to slam dunk the football, and then you should be able to push him into his final stage. The final stage of the enemy is going to have him lose his sniper rifle and use instead an arc launcher thing. So whenever arc damage comes up, he will absolutely destroy you, because if you didn't know, the bosses also, or the enemies also get the benefits of the burn at the time. So whenever it's arc burn, you should avoid enemies who do arc burn. It will do a lot of damage. Anyways, when the boss comes down for that third and final health bar, he's going to start rushing you down. He's going to find you right where you spawn. He's going to stick around you, and he's going to run after you. So you really have to be rotating around the map, trying to stay away from him, and stay in the places with a lot of cover. Don't go in the big area that's big and open, where the tanks were and the footballs were. Try to avoid that. I'm right next to the area I'm talking about, but I am right next to the cover as well. Try to kill as many ads as you can. The dogs are very good for the orbs. Try to kill the war beasts as much as you can, and try to get as many ads down so you can start shooting the boss. If you find yourself in this section with about 7 minutes remaining, you're gonna be cutting it a little close, but this is pretty much like the best run we had all day. When we got to the boss fight, we had about 9 minutes remaining. If you get to the boss fight with about 9 minutes remaining, you're pretty much golden. You have enough time to make a lot of mistakes and do pretty well. I think we finished with about 6 minutes remaining on the clock, so it's a pretty good run overall, and we could have done a lot better considering it was only our third try on the Nightfall. But anyways, that's pretty much the tutorial for you guys today. Again, try to avoid the boss as much as possible. He does jump around and follow you, and try again using those supers on the ads. Once you get to like the final bar of health, you can start using your super on the boss himself, and it should be no problem at all. I'm pretty sure you can get like almost an entire bar. If you have the current burn, your super should be able to take an entire bar off his health. So on that final fight, if you have void burn and you have the sentinel super, I would recommend just using it on the enemy. It should be no problem, and it should also get you little orbs if the enemies kind of run around you. You know, the dogs just come up to you and hit you. Anyways, that's the video for you guys today. There's a bunch of different things you need to do during the Nightfall. Keep an eye out for different things, but for the most part, this should be the hardest Nightfall in the crew. If you want to do this next week, the next Nightfall should be an easier Nightfall if you do end up having problems. And again, you should message me over on Twitter at Diachronic. I'll try to help you guys out on PS4. I'll try to give each person at least 3 tries and then rotate to the next person. If you do end up learning stuff, you can use it while playing with some other people, but if you don't end up figuring it out and finishing it within this Nightfall, just come back into the queue in the line and I'll try to help you on the next spin around. Anyways, that's the video for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'm so tired after doing this like 4 times. I did this voiceover like 4 times, trying to get it very exact, and in the end, it just kind of came out average. But again, of course, my name's been Diachronic. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did like, leave a like down below for my kind of voice cracking voice at the moment, and subscribe for more in-depth tutorials of exotic weapons, Nightfalls, loot caves, and crazy in the future. Oh, damn it, I just said a swear word. I'm gonna have to bleep that out. Thanks, YouTube. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one.